Millennials, known for their selfies, lattes, and of course, their avocado toast. Believe it or not, millennials are crushing it in today's society because nothing says you made it more than having 1 million followers on social media and $1 million of student loan debt at the very same time. You see, that joke is funny because I myself am a millennial. Okay, maybe it wasn't that funny, but kind of sad and true at the very same time if we're really being honest. And something else that is true is that millennials love Miami. And well, how do I know that? Well, that's because waves of millennials have moved to the Sunshine State, more specifically Miami, to call Miami home. And that got me thinking, what are some of the best Miami neighborhoods to live in if you yourself are a millennial? And that's what today's video is about. Now, the concept is simple. I'm going to select 3 neighborhoods or areas and tell you why I think they fit the bill and why you should probably consider them. Now, we're going to get started, but before I do want to highlight a few key points to set the stage, so to speak. So number 1, and this goes without saying, but everything that I say in this video is just my opinion, and it's just that. There are just a lot of other neighborhoods that didn't make this list, not because they're any worse or any better, but it's just because out of my opinion and from what I feel are probably the best neighborhoods, they did not make the list. Number 2, I understand that every viewer that I have is not necessarily a millennial. And you don't have to be a millennial for this to make sense, as many factors that I'm going to point out will naturally overlap with your different interests, age groups, and etc. So if you're not a millennial, don't fret. You don't need to worry. You can just stick around to the end of this video because I'm sure you're going to have or find something of value. Number 3 is that the criteria that I'm going to be using is mostly going to consider of walkability, job opportunities, the nightlife, and the overall quality of life. Number 4, and it's kind of silly that I'm even mentioning this, is that Miami Beach is not on the list. And I feel like I have to highlight this or clarify this point because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wondering why that is. And it's mostly because of the obvious, which is that everybody knows about the beach. It's mostly everybody's first choice, especially if you don't know Miami that well. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the beach and I get the allure behind it, but just because it's the most famous doesn't necessarily mean it's the best area for you. Number 5, and this is for those of you who know the Miami market well and are sticklers for these types of things. I know I am in some cases, is that throughout this video, you're going to hear me refer to cities in Miami as neighborhoods. And the reason for that is that I'm trying not to confuse a lot of people. Miami comprises of many cities, and I know this, but in order to kind of keep things simple, I'm just going to be assuming that Miami is the main city and all the other areas I'm going to be speaking about or talking about are just neighborhoods within that city, just to keep it very simple. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started on the top 3 Miami neighborhoods for millennials. In number 3, we have Coral Gables. The Gables, as it's mostly referred to, is more of a suburbia type community. Its Mediterranean theme aesthetic boasts homes from the 1920s and 30s and just oozes charm, character, and most importantly, affluence. Many neighborhoods within the Gables showcase some of Miami's best luxury properties, some worth in the tens of millions of dollars. But for most millennials, this of course is going to be a bit out of reach, at least for now, unless you develop the next Facebook app or metaverse app or whatever it is. But until that point, you do have some other options that everybody is mostly going to kind of move to that are a little bit more practical. Keep in mind that the Gables has always been and will always be an affluent area, and with that comes a specific type of property and a specific type of price. However, credit to the Gables on this because I think that they've always looked to the future to attract the next generation of residents. Now, with that forward thinking on the Gables part, they've had to develop many areas to cater to a younger demographic looking to get a slice of the Gables lifestyle. And for that, look no further than Miracle Mile. Miracle Mile is really the main area that I'm going to be referring to in this video. And what Miracle Mile is, for those of you who are not aware, is that it's a half a mile of road that stretches from Coral Way to Lejeune Road, and it essentially is the town square or downtown section of the city. As most town square, it's mainly going to consist of retail and is lined with restaurants, shops, boutiques, art galleries, bars, and much more. Miracle Mile is the main draw to many millennials. Its walkability sets it apart from many other areas in Miami, but it also boasts some of the hot spots that many residents, even across Miami, like to frequent. For example, Hillstones and Forte, which are just a couple restaurants to name just a few. But the fact that it acts like a hub and a nightlife area and places for networking is a great value proposition that I think many millennials are actually seeking. The other great thing about Miracle Mile and its close proximity is that you're really close to golfing and some of the best shopping that the city has to offer. So if you're into that kind of thing, then Miracle Mile will definitely not disappoint. Pricing is going to vary on the age, style, and the location of the building that you're going to select. But for the most part, condos within the general area near Miracle Mile for 1 bedrooms are going to range between $350,000 to $450,000. For 2 bedrooms are going to range between $450,000 to $600,000. $6,000, and 3 bedrooms, they start around $650 and go all the way up from there. Now, if you're looking for a rental as an alternative, then those can start around $2,400 for a 1 bedroom, $3,000 for a 2 bedroom, and $3,600 for a 3 bedroom. Now, before we move on to the second one, please help me out by liking this video if you're enjoying today's content. Also subscribe and ring that bell for more Miami real estate videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do those 2 things and I will forever be in your debt. Okay, in the second spot, we have Midtown. I have always been a huge fan of Midtown, and even with the massive increase in prices that have gone on lately, I still think that Midtown offers a great value. And especially if you can lock in a good deal, then you should definitely do so without thinking twice. Midtown is a few minutes north of downtown Miami between 29th and 36th Street, and basically it's another town center which comprises of a mix of retail and residential buildings. And although you can always find many town centers and downtown sections in the city, if you will, Midtown has always stood out to me. It somehow embodies that small town feel. It's like if you know that you're in Miami, but in this like very different weird bubble that feels almost kind of like Soho, New York, because it just has that aesthetic and feel and vibe to it that really attracts a lot of people to Midtown. The reason why I think Midtown has been so prominent lately is because of not just the Soho vibe that it kind of gives off with that whole New York feel, but also its location. You're essentially a stone's throw, definitely a walking distance to Wynwood, which is the art district of Miami. So if you want to see murals and have that whole hipster vibe, it's basically right there. But on the other side of Midtown, and probably just equally as close, is the design district, which is the complete opposite of Wynwood, where you have all this posh, super high-end luxury shopping like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, and all these different things. So you have this great dichotomy between both of this like hipster vibe and the super ultra luxury posh side. And Midtown is smack dab in the middle, walking distance to both of them, all while having or being in its own little bubble that has and feels nothing like the rest of Miami. So for those reasons, I think that it's a great area, not only for nightlife and to network and to definitely work and live out of, but because it's so centrally located to a lot of other places that people like to go to, I think Midtown is a great option for you guys to consider if you're thinking about moving to Miami. Now that's great and all, Steven, but what about the prices? All right, we're getting there. Midtown prices for 1 bedroom start around $380,000 and go all the way up to around $500,000. 2 bedrooms are going to range between $560,000 to $750,000, and 3 bedrooms can start at $1 million and go up from there. Now, for my renters out there, you can expect 1 bedrooms between $3,000 to $3,500, a 2 bedroom to start at around $4,000 and go up to $6,000, and 3 bedrooms can start at $6,500, and I've seen them all the way up to $10,000+. So it really just depends on the style, the look, and the age of the building that you're looking for. But Midtown, because it's so condensed, has always been on the little bit more of the expensive side in comparison to other buildings which are similarly close by. And last, but definitely not least, in first place, we have Brickell in downtown, which is probably not a huge surprise to most of you, especially if you've been following my channel for some time now. But I do feel that this is worth repeating because many of you, or some of you, may be new to the Miami real estate scene. So I definitely don't want to assume that you guys are already aware of this. So let me first start out by saying that Brickell and downtown are technically 2 separate areas which are separated by the Miami River. But for the sake of time and to keep this video as short and to the point as possible, I'm going to group them together as they share many of the same qualities that make for a great option for millennials. Well, what makes these areas so great and why are they number 1 on this list? Well, Brickell to start, followed by downtown, has some of the best walkability that Miami has to offer. And within a very close proximity to one another, you're going to find outdoor shopping like Mary Brickell Village, to restaurants, to high-end retail in Brickell City Center, rooftop bars, movie theaters, luxury hotels, and so much more. It also offers, to me, the best selection of condominium buildings to choose from in any neighborhood. You could go into a middle tier, no fuss building to an ultra high luxury building with every possible resort amenity that you can think of. Brickell has and caters to all types of taste, styles, and budget. It's Miami's best rendition of the New York style neighborhood with a twist and flavor only found in Miami. It really leverages that work-live atmosphere that many people are trying to go for because some of the most prominent corporations hold headquarters in this area. So job growth and job progression is a vital reason as to why this area is number 1. To me, it provides the best way to focus on your professional life and progression while still having the nightlife scene to hang out with friends and meet new people. In essence, everything that you want from a city lifestyle, all at your fingertips. And just how much is this lifestyle, you may ask? Well, that's a tough question as Brickell has some of the widest range of of prices due to different levels of buildings that we just spoke about. But to give you guys a general idea, because after all, this is what this channel is all about, giving you guys facts, details, and resources that you can actually use and utilize in the market. One bedrooms can be as low as $270,000 and go to as high as $800,000. Two bedrooms can go from low as $300,000 and close to $3 million. And some three bedrooms can start at $600,000, and I've seen them sell for over $4 million. Rental rates, as I'm sure you have seen, have skyrocketed over the last 12 to 18 months. So take this all with a grain of salt, because the information that I'm going to provide here, especially in this area, may not be true in the next few months, even the next few weeks. So for an idea, one bedrooms can range between $2,000 starting price to about $6,000. Two bedrooms can be around $2,500 starting price to about $12,000 on the high end. And three bedrooms are as low as $4,500. But I've seen some three bedrooms, and personally have rented some three bedrooms for over $20,000 per month. So it really just depends on, again, the style and look and feel for the building that you're going for. Ultimately, the area and neighborhood that is right for you is going to vary depending on many different factors. But after helping thousands of clients by this point, I can now say that generally most of my millennial clients, this is where they go and where I think will probably be most beneficial to you if you're looking to make a move anytime soon. The good news is that I have property tour videos on my channel on each single one of these neighborhoods and areas that I just mentioned. So if you'd like to know more about the neighborhood and see what properties look like and what they're renting or selling for in these neighborhoods, then look no further. Click on the property tour playlist to find a property that will fit your description or what you're looking for. And if you'd like to know more about the Miami real estate market and be up to date, then as always, like, subscribe to the channel for more weekly content like this video and other property tour videos. Guys, that would do it for today. As always, thank you so much for making it this far and tuning in. And as always, I'll see you next week. Take care and God bless.